Welcome everyone to coinpicker.us, and this is the dancing bear phase of the market where we're seeing a nice pop up from a brutal sell-off that we're all familiar with. And I had spoken about it, told my viewers that I expected to see it, and now we're getting a nice bounce up, more or less to the point I thought we would, which let's just see where we're at right now. Pirl, a coin that I am very high on. We will talk about that shortly, and it's a great way to make money when the market is going to the floor. Still a great way to make money. And it's one that I don't think enough people are taking advantage of, but let's see where the... Okay, so yeah, I had earlier said I think we could see a bounce up potentially to 600, but it was going to be range bound, and that's what appears to be happening at this point. Great tradable bounce. Fantastic tradable bounce. If you were fortunate enough to jump in the 489, $500 billion range, you've had a very nice pop, 20, 30, 40% in a day. Kind of tricky to do if you sign up for my indicators. Well, first subscribe to the channel. That would be great. Just go ahead and click the button, hit subscribe. Like it if I'm providing you useful information, but if you sign up at coinpicker.us, I am about to start sending out my alerts and my top 10 lists if my email company will not block me, which has been happening. But yeah, go ahead and click on this. You'll get the drop down, which should appear in a second. Go ahead and sign up for the email list, and I'll be sending you my analysis and some of the coins that I expect based on my algorithm to rise. But let's get into the market today and some other exciting avenues to make money. I'm going to use Ethereum as the bellwether versus Bitcoin, and I'll tell you why. Huge shift. Bitcoin's great. Bitcoin still has a role, but Ethereum is supplanting that role, and I've been talking about that for a while. Let's see how valid that is just based on the high it reached versus its recent low. That's not where I wanted to go. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. Okay, let's take a look really quickly at where Bitcoin has been, okay? And we all know it. 20,000 is the top, more or less. Bounced down to just under $10,000. And where is it now? It's at 11,722. I wouldn't call that a huge tradable pop, but it definitely is. And I think, according to my analysis, it's losing steam on the upward trend. I'll go into that in detail in a minute. But look at, okay, so 20,000 down to just under 10, and so 20,000 to, well, this doesn't really show it, but it was just under 10, and now we're bouncing back up. Great. If we do it on a 7-day, maybe it'll be a little more clear, and we'll show that very quickly. As soon as it loads, that is. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we don't see the 20,000, but we definitely see just under 10, 9,600. So a tradable bounce. In the world of cryptocurrency, it's not a massive tradable bounce, but a tradable bounce. Now let's see what Ethereum has been doing. And this is what I've been talking about for a while. There's no surprise to me in this, and those of you who have been following me even just for a week have heard me say that Ethereum has supplanted and will continue to supplant Bitcoin, especially because Ethereum in the near term is going to be releasing Casper. Of course, Bitcoin is going to release Litecoin, the Lightning Network, but that's not, in my book, sufficient. Look where the high was of Ethereum, and look where the low was, and look where it's regained. It's an entirely better story. The high was, I think it was 13-ish, nearly 1,400, something like that. Yeah, and the low was down here just below 1,000 and bounced up. What does that tell us? That the internal strength of Ethereum is far higher, and the upside potential of Ethereum is far higher, barring any fundamental change with Bitcoin. Ethereum is the new king. That is what I'm declaring. Ethereum is the new king. I've been saying it for a while. It is the most traded currency pair. When you add up Ether Delta, Radar Relay, Crypto, well, CryptoBridge uses its own, but a bunch of other systems, decentralized exchange, which, by the way, that's where everybody's going. We're going to eventually be forced, more or less, to go into decentralized exchanges. Not right now, but the KYC, or Know Your Customer, and AML, anti-money laundering laws, are making it less attractive to work with the centralized exchanges. I don't think they're going to go out of business anytime soon, but sites like, or companies like, companies, that's not right the word, a decentralized exchange like Bancor, which I've talked about before, you'll notice that Bancor didn't take that much of a shellacking in its price. If I can type, you'll see that. Wow, look, check this out. I think it hit a peak of 9 and went down to 6 and it's back up to 7. Didn't take a because the value is there. That is where the market is going to be heading, whether people realize it now or not. So Ethereum is the new king. Ethereum is the place to put money and rest. Now, what is the current assessment say? Ooh, that's not good. Why is that not telling me? Why is that not telling me what day? And this is really weird. All right, well. Okay, perfect. So it's a 1 day. This is my analysis. I'm going to shut that off. My analysis is telling me that sellers are still in control. We are rebounding somewhat. So we could see a steadying out or even a climb, but we're not in dramatically oversold. We're in a middling territory, meaning the likelihood is to maintain this balance. We're not in dramatically oversold. Sellers are in control still, but we could see more buyer action. So I wouldn't bet that we're going to see a dramatic leg up from here. This is essentially where I said we could bounce up to, and we're failing. Right now at this point, we're failing at the top. I see that we've run out of momentum. So but it's great. It's a tradable bounce. And one of the aspects about this market that's so exciting is how powerful these reversals are. They're For those of us that like to trade and are comfortable with it, this is a fortune-making market. The thing I can't stand, the area that's really hard, is this, where not much is happening. When you have a big run up, now if we could short, you could make a lot of money in these areas, but we can't short. So let's take a look. Gosh, why is this happening? Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Okay. For Ethereum. And I'm using Ethereum as the bellwether. Ethereum's wonderful in that it is a core big cap cryptocurrency, but it also represents the altcoin currencies. Well, we don't really have a lot of data, but I can tell you that the buyers are still in control. So there is still up-leg potential, but they are ceding control to the sellers. That's the nature. So Ethereum still could have some room to run on a weekly basis, but on a daily basis, it looks like we're steadying out. And we are coming out of an overbought position into a middling area where, like I said, it appears to be a steadying out phase. I know everybody is curious about Bitcoin, so I'll take a look at that really quickly. And these aren't, the analysis I'm doing here is not super thorough. I would normally add more factors to it. Sellers are in control. Buyers are in control, but losing control. And we're about to hit what is normally just a trending area where you don't have dramatic ups, you don't have dramatic downs. That's what it appears to be. But we still have a fairly aggressive selling slope in place. So we had a big, and this is actually a weekly. Yeah, so we still have a selling slope in place. It does look like there's still some downward potential, but not a tremendous amount. We have remained in overbought area for quite a while, but it looks like we're going to go down and bounce against the center area. So we could be seeing another reversal in the near term in the weeks like a couple of weeks ahead. I would say right now is not okay. On the daily basis, sellers are still in control, and it's not, at this point, it's not a massive sharp move up. We are oversold in CCI. This might be actually a buy point. We are definitely oversold in CCI. Definitely oversold in CCI. So this looks like this could be for those of us who are quick-footed, those of you who are quick-footed and don't mind getting in and out on speculative with a tight stop, this could be a potential trading point because definitely oversold, heading back up here. We've got a positive bent on the EFI as well, and looks like we're about to round out and cross over on a moving average. So not a super strong trading spot, but it looks like there does appear to be a tendency on the upside, slightly to the upside. So yeah, slightly to the upside because we are oversold and we are recapturing, going back to zero. and the EFI is trending up, but sellers are still in control. So that's that. But the takeaways are Ethereum is the new king. Decentralized exchanges have done very well through this. The strong, solid companies like Walton, if I can get my computer to work for us here, like Walton coin. It's too slow. I'll just talk about it. Let me see if I can show it to you here. Yeah, I'll just talk about it. Let's see if I can get it to work. I just wanted to make a point that Walton, very solid project. Neo, very solid project. They didn't take a massive slide, and they're running up relatively aggressively. So it's up 50%. It's basically recaptured almost everything it had. I don't know if it topped out at 32. It did. Topped out, so it hasn't quite recaptured. But it's certainly making a good run at it. And it's because it's a strong, solid project with a very high floor for value, meaning it's got value that can be substantiated with business contacts and intellectual property and things like that. NEM falls into that core category. Ethereum, absolutely. The most we would have lost with Ethereum is more or less, what? It was at 1,300-ish, dropped down to around 900. That's a big chop, but it isn't 20,000 to 9,000. That's a huge kick to the knees. So that's the message. Ethereum is the new king. The tradable currencies right now, the ones to get into, I think Pirl. Oh, I was going to talk about this. I'm going to say this really quick. All right, I'm in Pirl. I am about to start mining Pirl, and I recommend anybody who knows how to do it starts mining Pirl. It is an amazing opportunity. With 100 megahash mining power, which isn't very much, you can make an awful lot of money with Pirl. And I'm about to fire it up today if I don't throw circuit breakers with how powerful the mining rig is. But keep in mind that trading cryptocurrencies is just one avenue, just one way to make money. Staking cryptocurrencies like PIVX and Dash and a variety, there are too many to mention. When you post them in your wallet, yes, you can ride their value up, but you're also getting paid just to have them in your wallet, sometimes as high as 15%. I know there's a royalty coin, which I think is a bit of a scam. In fact, let's see what royalty coin is doing these days. Haven't looked at that in a while. Royalty coin, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. I haven't bought in. It's a trading vehicle. Yeah, it's done not much, but it does pay an awful lot when you hold it, if you want to hold it. I don't recommend it at all. It reminds me a lot of a pack coin to a certain extent, except it's got a very, very low value, very low trading cap, everything. But Pirl is a winner in that regard, and it also is a solid project. So that is coinpicker.us. Go ahead and hit subscribe, hit like if I've provided you useful information, and subscribe to my tips that will be going out via email and the top 10 coin list, as well as some of my predictions, which thus far have played out pretty well. So I will catch up with everybody tomorrow. Thanks.